First up, honey, we got a man who didn't exactly jump for joy when his in-laws dropped a pregnancy announcement and his wife has cancer. This one's got layers. Let me get Hank Hill on the line for this one.
Hank Hill speaking.
Hank, darling, I got a fella on the line. His wife has been real sick. They can't have kids, and her family threw a surprise pregnancy reveal that went sideways in a big way. I need your honest take, hon.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dolly. Lay it on me. I've been dealing with Dale's nonsense all morning, so I got patience to spare. All right, so this fellow's wife, she got real sick a few years back, the bad kind of sick, and the treatments she had to go through mean they can't try for kids. Not now, maybe not ever. That's a heavy thing for a family to carry, real heavy. Now hold on just a dadgum minute. Peggy and I went through some hard seasons too, and I tell you what, you don't just pretend the hard thing isn't there. You acknowledge it. That's called being a decent human being. So the wife's brother invites him to a family dinner. Twice, actually. Both times the wife gets sick, real sick, fever and all. And instead of being concerned, the brother gets huffy about it. Starts insinuating, maybe it ain't a real illness. As if a man would lie about his wife having a fever. Sweet Lord, that boy had the audacity of a man who's never had to sit in a hospital waiting room. I tell you what, I once drove Peggy 40 miles with a pulled back muscle because she needed me there. You don't question a man's wife's fever, ever. They finally make it to the third dinner. Everything seems fine. Then the family pulls out a gift box, wants to record everyone's reactions on their phones, which already feels weird and French to me, and inside is a pregnancy test. The wife starts crying. The husband is trying to hold it together. Now recording a man's private emotional moment without his say-so. That ain't celebration, that's entertainment. Bobby would never set up cameras on somebody else's grief. That's just not how we do things in Ireland. And then the brother says out loud, right there at the dinner table, "Now you know why I was upset you kept missing the dinners, like he'd been holding that little speech ready." The husband said, not so politely, that a phone call would have done just fine. The whole room went quiet. I tell you what, that brother lit a match in a room full of propane and then acted surprised when something caught fire. If he was going to make a big production, he needed to think about who was in the room. That's just basic consideration, dadgummit. The wife gets a fever again, stress'll do that, and they have to leave. Now the husband's wondering if he's the bad guy for not grinning ear to ear through the whole thing. He says himself he should probably apologize, and he might owe a small one, but so does everybody else at that table. You know, they say regret is knowing what you should have done differently. That family should have made a phone call. Simple, clean, no cameras, like propane, efficient, considerate, no mess. Now listen here, that husband is not the asshole. Not the main one anyway. He let his emotions out at a bad moment, sure, and maybe he could have chosen better words. Peggy's taught me that much. But nobody in that room stopped to think, hey, maybe a surprise pregnancy announcement filmed on a phone is not the right move for a couple who can't have children. That's not mean-spirited ignorance, but it is ignorance. In Ireland, we think before we act. We have a conversation at the kitchen table, not a surprise reveal with cameras rolling. This whole situation could have been avoided with one dadgum phone call. The brother knew for months. A simple heads up. Hey, we got some news. Wanted you to know privately first. That's what a good family does. Instead, he turned his sister's pain into a TikTok moment. That ain't right. That ain't right at all. That boy needs to apologize to his sister, his brother-in-law, and frankly to the concept of good manners itself.
Bless his heart. All right, next call, office drama. Sugar, a woman's got a coworker who can't stop grabbing things out of her hands, and she's had enough. Let me ring up Morgan Freeman for this one.
Hello, Dolly.